everybody. Hello, awesome people, as Chief Guy says. For the sake of people on the replay, we're gonna start immediately into the presentation, and then we're gonna catch up and have a discussion about it. So this goes out for the people who don't necessarily have the empathy for animals. I think you guys should still go plant-based anyways, because meat eating in the 21st century is insane. But before we start, I have to mention the animals, because how can we not? Animals are slaughtered en masse every single day. 900,000 cows, 1.4 million goats, 1.7 million sheep, 3.8 million pigs, 12 million ducks, 202 million chickens, and hundreds of millions of fish are slaughtered for unnecessary food. That's just the slaughter part. The production part, the production of things like eggs and dairy goes even higher than this, substantially higher. But people would say, well, you vegans also kill many, many animals, more than meat eaters, they would claim. Well, we have a little bit of a question mark there, how they could make that claim when we have the data. Sorry, I'm going to make it smaller so everybody can see. There you go. We do have the data of how many animals die per kilogram of food. And it seems that the vegan foods kill the least amount of animals, at least in those 8 foods that were tested. This is going to become even clearer later when we talk about non-animal issues that animal agriculture creates. So if you don't have the empathy for animals, if you, for some reason, I don't know, maybe hate animals, which I think almost nobody does, or for some reason you've decided that you want to kill the most amount of animals in your lifetime and exploit even more, we're going to delve into things of how you selfishly should choose to be plant-based anyways. Sorry, this is gonna be a little bit on the fly, guys. So one of the reasons we should probably go vegan, actually, is how it takes away our humanity. If you don't have empathy for animals, this shows up in your interaction with people who are not in your immediate surroundings, your immediate family. We have a lot of psychological research on this, on how the dehumanization of humans stems somewhat from our lack of empathy to animals. So, historically, dehumanization has enabled members of advantaged groups to morally disengage from disadvantaged group suffering, thereby facilitating acts of intergroup aggression, such as colonization, slavery, and genocide. But is blatant dehumanization exclusive to those at the top looking down, or might disadvantaged groups similarly dehumanize those who dominate them? You can look at your local and global news, and you can see the result of this. Some of those things are mentioned in this study alone. The dehumanization comes in many forms. One of them is when you declare that the people that you accept that are being killed are animals and therefore are okay to kill. If we went vegan, not plant-based, and would stop view animals as somebody to produce, to kill, to exploit, this might take away this one way in which we are terrible to each other. Of course, we have to mention the growing problems in the environmental region. So if you don't care about animals, but you do care for the environment because humans are important to you, well, you should go plant-based. Why? Because if you want to reduce the carbon footprint of your food, you should focus on what you eat and not how local food is to you. What does this mean? Usually we do get the claims that local food, locally sourced food, reduces greenhouse gas emissions. Well, that's not necessarily or entirely correct. We do have data that the greenhouse gas emissions of transportation, it's this pink part, are insignificant. It's this tiny sliver in every type of food that was checked. And if you look on the top, most of those foods are not plant-based, they are animal-based, with an exception of about 3 foods with which you don't interact the way you interact with animal foods. So this is per kilogram of food. If you are not vegan, it's likely that you eat about 1 kilogram of beef once a week. You do not eat 1 kilogram of chocolate once a week, or drink 1 kilogram of coffee once a week. And you definitely don't, hopefully, eat 1 kilogram of olive oil once a week. Although, if you care about the environment, you probably should reduce those foods as well. So if you would like to address your contribution to the greenhouse gases in the environment, you should probably go for the foods on this lower bottom. What else is going to happen if you adopt the plant-based diet? Well, you're going to reduce your agricultural land use by 75%. That does not only include the freed up land from where the animals are supposedly grazing or are housed. That includes the cropland, which is used for both human food and animal feed. If we all globally went plant-based, then we would reduce the cropland by 200 million hectares and free up 75% of land, of agricultural land, to do whatever they with, to rewild, to create some kind of carbon sinks in other ways. Generally speaking, a good idea to free up the huge amount of land that we hold for animals. I think there is another graph here that demonstrates it as well. Not here, maybe here still. Yeah, just a little bit more. So energy efficiency of foods. So when land efficiency, beef really wins up. Energy efficiency, beef is on the bottom, and whole milk, actually, and eggs are on the top. But we're going to address that later. Developing the meat grab. This is something new that I learned today. Let me to make it smaller. So meat grabbing is describes actually existing land deals undertaken for industrial meat production, either directly in the form of animal housing and stocking, confined animal feeding operations or CAFOs, or indirectly in the form of monocrop grain and oilseed production for livestock feed. So why are they calling it oilseed? Because oil is extracted and most of the seed itself goes to feed the animals in the form of meal, so ground up protein and such. So meat grabbing is also a concept for analyzing the relationship between industrial meat regimes, food security politics, and global land rush, relationship which have not yet been sufficiently considered in research or in policy. So so meat production and animal product production abducts our land and turns it into literally shit. The devastating water footprint of animal agriculture. This is an amazing report. I can put it in the chat if you want to check it out later, guys. I'm definitely going to be adding it to my site. Everything we consume has a water footprint that reflects on how much water is used to produce. The FAO predicts that depending on your diet, it takes 2,000 to 5,000 liters of water to produce the food consumed daily by one person. This huge difference comes down to what we choose to eat, notably animal products or vegetable crops. This is figure 1. It shows the water footprint of selected foods. So beef, generally speaking, is the most water intensive for probably feed, and because the animals exist for a really long time. And then after that is sheep, then pork, then butter, cheese, chicken, eggs, and milk. And they are noting in the report that, give me a second, so meat scores significantly higher than most plant-based products. This is again per kilogram of food, so unless you eat a kilogram of nuts per day, you don't interact with the green foods in this way. So even the higher ones, because you eat relatively small amount of them every single day, it just doesn't come up to the destruction that beef or other meats are wreaking on our water supply. So it says blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm going to skip a little bit. So it says, while milk looks like it has a relatively low water footprint, when you compare it to the water demand of plant-based alternatives, it is significantly higher, using as much as 2 to 20 times as much fresh water, depending on the plant milk. And they have a demonstration for us, a little graph. So when cow's milk uses the most greenhouse gas emissions, the most land use, and the most water use in comparison to our favorite plant milks, almond milk is water intensive relatively. It also tastes like ass. So please go for soy or oat milk if you want your environmental footprint to be reduced, even if you don't care about the cows and the baby calves. Let's continue. Disrupting meat. This is about the inefficiency and the waste that the animal product production creates. So meat makes for curious math, this says from a report from Yale. About 25 calories are required to create just 1 calorie of beef. The ratio for pork is nearer 15 to 1. Even the most efficient meat, chicken, requires 9 calories of input to produce just 1 calorie of food. And what do chickens eat the most? Almost exclusively crops. They eat grains, they eat corn, soy, things like that. So instead of eating those precious calories directly, If you are not plant-based, you are wasting precious nutrients. You are wasting precious calories, which we could use to feed the actual hungry in the world. Another thing that we are wasting is supplements. So vegans are touted for using supplements to supplement their poor diet. But look at this. Minerals and vitamins, while accounting for a small percentage of the dietary requirements for cattle, play a very important role in animal function. So they assist in areas such as bone development, muscle contraction, and good nervous system and immune function. So mineral requirements for cattle are typically classified as macrominerals and microminerals. So all of those things are added into the supplemental food that animals are fed. Dietary sources typically include forages, concentrate, feedstuffs. So forages are not supplemented as far as I know. Concentrate feedstuffs are, and mineral supplements and water. So we are wasting supplements on animals, which then animal eaters eat instead of taking the pill directly. Leather production, the environmental impact, we're still on this. So again, selfishly for humans, we should ditch leather and even go for polyurethane leather alternatives. So the shift, the results show that bovine leather has the highest environmental impact, mainly due to a high carbon footprint, toxicity, potential, and water use. Polyurethane leather was found to have an environmental burden due to the reliance on non-renewable fossil-based materials and the energy-intensive production process, but it came in under leather, so it doesn't produce as much environmental footprint as leather does. So, and of course, we have the best alternatives, which are mycelium leather emerged as the most sustainable alternative, with the lowest impact scores in all categories. So if you are going for shoes, please choose mycelium leather. We're still on leather, so let me enlarge this. The most significant impact categories from the assessment were global warming potential, fresh water ecotoxicity, human toxicity, fossil fuels, and water consumption potential. These were further analyzed by MapOut, blah, blah, blah. So bovine leather, highest in global warming potential, freshwater ecotoxicity, human toxicity potential, where polyurethane leather and mycelium leather, I'm sorry, it's very small, but I apologize. That's how graphics go. Are insignificant when it comes to human toxicity potential. So again, selfishly, when you go for your next leather goods, please choose vegan leather. The same goes for human toxicity potential in non-carcinogenic. Oh, so this is carcinogenic, this is non-carcinogenic. Then fossil fuel potential, where polyurethane leather is, of course, wins out in this one thing. And water consumption potential. Leather, again, takes the crown as the most devastating product. Our findings reveal that among the set of, this is a new study, this was the same study, this is a new study. Our findings reveal that among the set of footwear materials, bovine leather exhibits the highest environmental impacts across the most impact categories, with a caveat, but it excels in terms of durability, so it stays around a little longer. We have here leather water footprint. So it uses 14 times more water than the synthetic polyurethane leather. And the devastating case of India becoming absolutely the most toxic from the production of leather in which it excels. Specifically, the case for Kanpur. It's a city in India, which resides very close to Ganges, the river that runs through India. And the amount of toxicity in Kanpur is unbelievable. Cancer rates are, I think, 40 times as high. You can read this. I can post it in the chat as well. Cancer risk is incredibly high. The land became so toxic that they actually lost the ability to grow crops in Kanpur. And it just takes over the city as the only way to make money in that city. You can't do anything else. The chemicals pour, I can show the devastating pictures here. The chemicals from leather production pour all over the city. This is what it looks like. Children are working in those industries as well, so child labor. People, give me a sec. There you go. Children, again, children are working on creating leather. Those are adults. They are painting the leather with toxic chemicals. Some children, some people who work on it go blind, at least in some eyes. This is the production of leather shoes. Looks like a sweatshop to me. Leather jackets. Let's move on to actual devastating stuff. So there is very little attempt to stop the chemicals from running all over the city. They just generally don't have to do anything with it, right? There is nobody's checking this. People lose pigmentation on their hands and feet because, of course, they don't get protection either. This water, toxic water and dyes run all over the country. There is literally, you can't grow anything in this country anymore, or in this city. Children are working on this. More toxicity. Those pictures are fucking devastating. Oh, I can just switch here. Sorry. Yeah. That's how close they are to the river. So they're spilling that shit into the river that goes across the entire India region. Yeah. Devastating. Cancer, lung cancer, skin, chemicals just running in the streets. Dogs are dying because they're drinking that shit. Yeah, again, dogs, pigs dying, drinking that shit. Leather fucking everywhere. That's what happens there. Yeah. There you go. So that's leather. We are moving on to animal testing. I have quite a few things to say about animal testing, but this is the best example of it. So aspirin killed the cat. Animal research models do not always apply to humans. Aspirin, for people who don't know, at a certain age, 60 or so, it almost becomes mandatory for people to start taking aspirin, because if at that age, the body is much easier to create blood clots. So taking a blood diluter, aspirin specifically, is saving lives all over the world. So what is proposed here? So should I read this actually? Oh, there is no little snippet here. So aspirin, it says, is potentially lethal to cats. They are unable to metabolize it well compared to humans. Cats do not have the genetic code. So aspirin was tested on cats, and almost, I'm just going to tell you what it says. So aspirin was tested on cats, and it was almost discarded as a drug that is dangerous to humans because it was tested on animals. And when they revisited this drug and actually tested it on humans, they found out that it's a miracle drug that should not have been excluded. So what does this mean potentially? Because almost every drug goes through, or almost every intervention goes through animal testing, it could be that so many miracle drugs were just dropped off as dangerous because they were toxic to the animals whom they were tested on. It could be that we could have cured cancer, heart disease, diabetes, anything else. But we did not do it because it was toxic to animals. So we discarded those compounds as dangerous. We should find other solutions. If you care about humans, despite not care about animals, you should support not using, replacing animal testing with alternatives, which we do have. Zoonotic diseases, again, we're being incredibly selfish. We don't want another COVID-19 to occur. So zoonotic diseases, most humans are in contact with animals in a way or another. A zoonotic disease is a disease or infection that can be transmitted naturally from vertebrate animals to humans, from humans to vertebrate animals. More than 60% of human pathogens are zoonotic in origin. This includes a wide variety of bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, parasites, and other pathogens. Factors such as climate change, urbanization, animal migration and trade, travel and tourism, vector biology, anthropogenic factors, and natural factors have greatly influenced the emergence, re-emergence, distribution, and patterns of zoonoses. So where do people interact with animals the most? In animal agriculture. It also is the best place to have zoonotic diseases arise from because animals are packed tightly. So viruses have a chance to pass from one to another and then mutate and then pass to humans and then pass back to animals and so on and so forth. Welcome COVID-19 and welcome something we've been waiting for since COVID-19. H5N1 takes another step towards becoming a global pandemic. So in a critical development, sorry, I'm going to make it smaller, no worries, like that. In a critical development for infectious disease experts and healthcare providers across the United States, a new study confirms the emergence of highly pathogenic avian influenza, H5N1, in dairy cattle. The 2024 outbreak, which spreads across multiple US states, marks an unprecedented shift in the behavior of zoonotic influenza viruses. Once limited to avian species with only occasional mammalian infections, H5N1 has now shown adaptation to bovine hosts, posing pressing concerns for public health, human health. We are being selfish here. We are talking only about going plant-based for us, the humans, food safety and pandemic preparedness. Moving on, we're being selfish again. We're talking about health risks of consuming meat, specifically in this case. Cancer risk, red and processed meat. Group 1 is carcinogenic to humans. Group 2 is probably carcinogenic to humans. This is the classification of International Agency for Research on Cancer, which classified processed meats, the consumption of, as group 1, definitely carcinogenic, and red meat consumption of as group 2A, probably carcinogenic, probably carcinogenic to humans. And they reached this conclusion by writing a book, a literal book, with a huge amount of citations on how they reached this conclusion. And lately, we received word that a new study emerged that shows us that it's not just the red meats that are dangerous to us. So poultry meat is currently among the most widely consumed meats in Italy and worldwide. Poultry is reasonably affordable and acceptable, explaining the high global consumption rates. What are the results? Let's go to conclusions immediately. Our study showed that poultry consumption above 300 grams a week is associated with a statistically significant increased mortality risk, both from all causes and from gastrointestinal cancers. The risk is higher for men than for women. And it's not just because they say it's 300 grams per week. It's not just that it's harder on men because men consume more meat. It's also, there are differences between sexes. And so men become more cancerous when consuming meat. We continue to cardiovascular disease. So this is meta analysis, the collection of meta-analyses. This is as close as science comes to fact, to actual fact. So low-density lipoproteins cause atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Evidence from genetic, epidemiologic, and clinical studies. A consensus statement from the European Atherosclerotic Society Consensus Panel. So again, as close to fact as we can reach in science, this is a consensus statement, making this scientific consensus as well. What is the conclusions? Consistent evidence from numerous and multiple different types of clinical and genetic studies unequivocally established that LDL causes atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. It's right there on the bottom. And I'm going to put this amazing statement in the chat as well, if people want to check it out. I desperately stole it from Vegan Gains, so shout out Vegan Gains on his debate lately. Disease in ancient populations. So people are making the claim, how could it be that we get sick from animal products and not the rest of our food system if we've been eating meat our entire ancestry, right? We've been eating meat for thousands of years. Well, we actually have evidence of the modern diseases existing in ancient peoples. So this study of the mummified remains of 237 adults suggests that atherosclerosis is ubiquitous in human population distributed temporally and geographically since ancient time, being seen in 37.6% of our combined samples. Atherosclerotic calcifications were found in similar frequencies in Egyptian and non-Egyptian mummies and in men and women. These findings support the existence of an innate human predisposition to atherosclerosis. So this is not a new modern, they say modern cardiovascular risk factors superimposed on an underlying inherent risk may drive the extent and the impact rather than the basic prevalence risk of atherosclerosis. This sentence basically, I think, means that it's not that the modern times created those diseases, it's that they exacerbated them. Evidence of atherosclerosis in mummified remains, another study. Is it not the same? No, it's not the same. Although atherosclerosis is widely thought to be a disease of modernity, computed tomographic evidence of atherosclerosis has been found in the bodies of a large number of mummies. This article reviews the findings of atherosclerotic classifications in the remains of ancient people, humans who lived across a very wide span of human history and over most of the inhabited globe. These people had a wide range of diets and lifestyles and traditions. Modern risk factors do not thoroughly explain the presence of easy detectability of this disease. It doesn't stop in atherosclerosis. It continues with evidence of cancers in antiquity. So the systematic review contributes to the broader studies of malignant neoplastic disease in antiquity. It provides an overview of paleo-oncological data, discusses the many practical and methodological challenges of paleo-oncological research, and dispels the presumption about cancer's rarity in the past. Pathological skeletal remains from ancient Egypt. The earliest case of diabetes mellitus? Oh no, I thought diabetes is a modern disease. That's why I have the genetics for it. I'm of course joking. So skeletal remains of an adult male from Egyptian archaeological site in Deir el-Barsha, dated in the Middle Kingdom, so this much BC, displays a myriad of pathological conditions that, when considered together, likely indicate diabetes mellitus, specifically type 2 diabetes mellitus. So amazing. Another, diabetic bone lesions, a study of 38 known modern skeletons and the implications of forensic scenarios. I think by modern they mean like just in these couple of millennia. So diabetes mellitus is a condition with severe and life-threatening complications and epidemic proportions worldwide. The study of diabetes on bones that can provide crucial information of forensic practice, their ecological field, and medical research. In this paper, the authors report and discuss the lesion observed on the skeletons of 38 individuals, plus 11 negative control. As a result, different types of lesions were highlighted in the feet, and so forth. So, those are not modern diseases, unfortunately. They always existed. So the claim that it cannot be that meat causes disease is a little weird. Another way that animal agriculture destroys the humanity, and selfishly, we want to prevent that destruction, of course. The global meat and seafood market is an empire worth $867 billion worldwide in 2021. That's why they fight so hard against vegans, I think. This market is dominated by mega corporations like Tyson and GBS, which receive billions of dollars in direct subsidies, cash grants, loans, purchases, or other types of financial aid from the government. Worldwide, government provide approximately $540 billion annually in direct subsidies to agriculture, with most of these payments going to big ag. So if you want to support your local farmers, you should stop buying animal products that drink our subsidies and kill small farmers, but also totally waste our money on things that we don't need. Imagine what we could do worldwide with $540 billion that could be allocated to feeding children in Africa, to providing better healthcare worldwide and in America, to, I don't know, put something in the chat if you think of something that I can't think of what to do with $540 billion worldwide. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization found that over 2/3 of this support is considered price distorting and largely harmful to the environment. We are back to the detriment of the environment. This is mentioning the direct support. There are also indirect support. I think I put it here. Yep, I did. I'm so good. Let me see if I can make it bigger though. I'm the best YouTuber in the world. Look at that. Doing it all live. There you go. Corn, cows, and climate change. How federal agricultural subsidies enable factory farming and exacerbate US greenhouse gas emissions. Now in the US, the issues are pretty big. Worldwide, the issues differ a little bit. But we saw the worldwide data, of course, on greenhouse gas emissions. Now we're talking about the subsidies of corn, I think. Oh, I just can't make it bigger, guys. Yeah, let's just skip it. Let's just say, yeah, it's too small to read. Let's just say that not only do animal agriculture collect the direct subsidies for growing food that everybody wants but nobody needs. They also collect the subsidies through subsidizing specific types of crops, which can be most likely used for feed, making their chain of production much cheaper. And therefore, the food that you like but don't need and is incredibly environmentally disgusting and morally bankrupt becomes cheaper. And there goes my presentation. I would like to return to the animals because in the last ditch resort to make some people who maybe watch this and are empathetic to animals to consider the animals first and then consider the selfish considerations, the humanity of themselves, and make the change to either vegan or plant-based. All right, I'm sure I forgot many things. This is the time for my dear chat who's been listening to me talking for 40 odd minutes to tell me, what have I missed? Have I missed any things? Let me know. And what do you think of the presentation? Put 1 in the chat if you generally liked it and agree. Put 2 in the chat if you hated it and disgusting, whatever. I put on a red light today, so just to make everything more apocalyptic. So I see a few ones in the chat, that's good. Let me put the chat here so I can see it. Up. All right. Cheap says $540 billion would be enough for me to live on. Yeah, for sure. You could afford a flight back from Mars. Yeah. And world hunger. That's the thing that I think about the most. The hungry children in several populations right now could have been fed if we just didn't waste the subsidies and the nutrients and the supplements and the water and the land. VPN, what's your favorite color? I don't have one. I just don't care. Kind of. Sorry. Sorry, cheap. Good presentation. Thank you, Bianca. Hungry and homeless. Yeah. Imagine that if we had enough land, maybe we could give people who don't have homes, actual homes. Read today, yes. All right, guys, I see that you had a lot of things to say while I was presenting, but not much right now. I guess maybe no, I haven't missed anything. So maybe I should end it here. I don't know. Maybe I should roll back and see what you were saying as well. I know we started with troll, so eating meat is allowed. By what measurement? Are you a child? And did your parents allow you to eat meat? And therefore, eating meat is allowed. You don't like meat? Incorrect. I love meat. Don't eat meat? No, I don't eat meat, but it's not because I don't like it. What else? Let's see. Very unlikely that Bruce is still here, but right. Awful numbers. Yes, the numbers are very harsh. Put those numbers in some form of perspective, like compare it to how many people died in the war or something. Okay, that's a good idea, Chip. I will add it to my site for sure. What else? There's the saying, as long as there are slaughterhouses, there will be battlefields. Yeah, I think we have enough evidence for this throughout the many wars that humans have experienced. The prevalence of animalization or dehumanization is pretty large. Yeah. Where's my chocolate coconut milk, says Tom? I don't know. Probably isn't going to get a connecting spaceship to Amsterdam. Tony, you have something on your mind today. What else is there? There's a picture with all those leftover hides, high like a mountain. Yeah. True. Animal testing is futile more often than not. Yeah, I think so. In some things, I don't know, guys. It doesn't even matter. Even if animal testing is the most useful thing on earth, it's still immoral. Usefulness is not morality. Morality is not usefulness. We would never say, although researchers to which I talk about this often do, we would never justify exploiting and killing humans just so that we could produce a new drug for humanity. So why we do this to animals? What moral right do we have for that? Right, I'm gonna jump to the beginning to the end. Good tofu scrambling. Thanks, Olawari. You know how I love tofu talks. Let's watch something. Well, send me something, Chip, and we'll watch. Your site is already cool. Yeah, by the way, if you want, I can link to it. It is pretty cool. It's becoming a thing. It's not very well updated yet, but I'm working on it. Tofu Co never got back to me. That's a shame. Me and Tone wrote to Tofu, which is a tofu brand in UK, telling them, hey guys, wake the fuck up. Put yourself at the forefront of protein, of alternative protein. I guess maybe they'll take the advice, maybe not. I'd like to go still undecided. I'm coming to camp out. There are a few issues there. There are a few contentions there. So probably not. I'm also not earning like a lot of money these days. So I don't know if I can justify taking another vacation like that, which was pretty expensive the last time. Maybe if I like get a free ticket, if Patrick can find a free ticket, maybe the moral implications would disappear and it would be a little less expensive for me to visit it, but probably not. Hello, John Cow. Right, Chip, are you sending me something? Or are we ending the stream? I think it was a good presentation. I think ending the stream is the right thing to do. We will hang out next week. Next week I'm going to try to do something less compound. Cheap. Only if you come up and react to it with me. There, I'm trapping you in this. Let's talk about What's up, Slim Shady? Guys, thank you for reminding me. I really wanted to do this. everybody who's listening, put one in the chat if you think that we should support vegans in their non-vegan related endeavors as well. Please put one in the chat if you think that is something that you think we should do. Oh, ones appear. Ones appear. Good. Therefore, please follow 80 Slim Shady's very vegan music YouTube channel. Frankly, the music is fantastic. The amount of effort that goes into both the music and the production is amazing. And it's really fun for me every time that it pops up. It just brightens my day. So please follow Final Low, which is Slim Shady's YouTube channel, and enjoy, and you are very much welcome. Maro, you missed it. You missed it. I did a thing. I did a good thing. I think people enjoyed. You can't find that video. That's okay, Cheap. Let's do it another time. Thank you, everybody, very much for coming. I'm gonna maybe make chapters for this live stream. And if you liked a specific point, you can tag it and time code it in the comments. That I would really appreciate that. I think that increases engagement a little bit. Yeah, see you next time.